All right, I'm back. I got my Walmart original cola. I think we're good to go. Okay, so I got a few things. I think my list is mine and Eddie's combined. I think he might have a little bit of things, but for the most part, my list shouldn't be too long. I'll go over when I want to go over. Eddie can go over. He wants to go over, and then we'll open it up to you guys if y'all have anything. Or since Kix is giving us his presence, then if he has anything he wants to talk about. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over for the training department is the changes in the rules. Part of Kix's Operation Kiss, Keep It Simple Stupid, was to simplify the whole clan as a whole, just everything as a whole, and he did his part with deleting the profiles. Um, Kix, are you there?
Yeah.
Are y'all still gonna work on maybe not the training department rules, but just the actual rules themselves?
Everything in the squad, operational rules, everything. It's gonna be overlooked.
Perfect. So they're still working, they're still going to work on the rules, everything as a whole. Our part of it was to kind of look at the training department, see what we can do to simplify it. We didn't want to make too much of change, too many changes, but um, what Eddie posted should have been the link to the forum post. Yes. And hopefully everybody saw it. Hopefully everybody saw that forum post links. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of go over it. And if y'all have any questions or concerns while I'm going over it for what I talk about, I'll go over every single one. Then y'all just bring them up. But me and Eddie kind of looked at this. We made this, and then we're presenting it to you guys right now. And if y'all have any concerns, if y'all don't have any concerns and we're good to go, then we might be releasing this very soon. Eddie, how soon do you think we'll be releasing this if it's good?
Uh, I mean, this forum post's been up for a while. As soon as I make sure that all of the lieutenants are okay with it and they see it, then we're just gonna release it. So probably by today or tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing, between any training games, is still going to say 2 days. We looked at that. We were kind of thinking 2 days shouldn't be too bad. It's not that bad for 2 days. So we're good with that. Between the completion and removal of one training and the beginning of another, 1 month. So we're looking to change everything. That's going to be from the start of one to the start of another, and that's going to be between tier one and tier two. Everything's going to be 1 month, so we don't have to think about, okay, is it 2 weeks, is it 2 months, all of that stuff is just 1 month, so it's gonna make it a little bit easier. It's gonna take a little bit longer to get people to get a little bit of certifications, but I don't think that should be any problem. You must hold your 2-2 tag for 3 months now instead of 6. Before it was 6, we did that was a little bit too long, so now it's 3 months. So that's that. All members and probies, so this is probies now, have 4 weeks to complete their training. None of this probies have 45 days to complete their training, and members have 4 weeks. Everybody's going to be on the same playing field with 4 weeks. The way I'm going to do it, and the way the battalion chief and the other captain, when we get it's going to do it, most likely is, we'll put you on the training chart. You have 4 weeks. When you have 1 week left, you're marked in orange, and we send the person that's being trained a message saying, hey, you got a 1 week left. And it's a case by case basis whether or not they get an extension. Most likely, if they haven't got an extension already and they ask for one, they're going to get it. Unless I see that they haven't done a training game they haven't even started the training. Well, they might not get it, but um, so that's the way it's going to work. Or that's the way we want it to work. Now, Kick, since you're here, there was something I wanted to ask you. Do y'all have that rule where if a probie doesn't become a member in 45 days, they get removed?
Yeah.
So how is that going to affect the training? If we want to change this to 4 weeks for everything, does that mean that probies now have 4 weeks to become a member and then they're going to get removed?
Well, there's usually 4 to 5 weeks in a uh, month. That's usually about 30 days. They have 45 days to become a member.
Okay, stupid me. All right. You're good. Um Same thing, 1 trainer is allowed per training game. Don't worry about that. Okay, if you fail to do the pass, you have to pat test. You have to wait 24 hours before attempting again. That's correct. That's the same thing. Before it was if you failed a pat test 3 times. Now we're seeing if we can do it to 2 times. I mean, if this doesn't pass, it's fine. But the way I see it is, if someone fails the pat test, the way I do it, and I mean, I'm not saying this is the way you guys should do it, but I'm guessing this is the way y'all do it too. Is y'all kind of go over what they failed it on, where they can find the answer, and then they have the answer. So there's nothing saying that the second time they take their pass, they shouldn't pass it. They should pass it with 100% because they basically got the answer already. So now it's 2 times instead of 3. I don't think we've ever had anybody fail it 3 times. But if they fail it 2 times, then I mean that just kind of shows that they weren't listening in the first place, and they probably should. And you may be removed. Not that you are, but you may be. Same thing with the order of following training. It's gonna be probies first, then tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I mean, probies come first, and then obviously whoever else. I changed rule 7. Before it used to say you must watch 2 games, or it says you must watch 2 games. I changed it to you must watch or listen because not that many people can watch, and I changed it to ops games or attack games because that's what it is. Recertification course is still with a captain or higher and consists of 1 final. Okay, so this is kind of the big thing here. I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. Let me bring up the training chart. Okay, so the way the training is now for tier 1 games is, and this is fire, EMS, and PD only. Just forget about dispatch for now. You play training game 1, you move on directly to your final if you pass it. If you fail training game 1, you have to pass training game 2 and 3 and then move on to your final. I'm thinking that we can probably simplify it. So the way it is now is you have 4 training games and you have 3 finals. I want to bring it down to 3 training games and 2 finals. So the way it would work is you have 3 attempts to pass 2 training games, and you have 1 attempt, or I'm sorry, you have 2 attempts to pass 1 final. So you pass training game 1, and you pass training game 2, you already passed your 2 training games, you move on to your final. If you fail training game 1, you have to pass training game 2 and 3 because you still need to get your 2 out of 3 in order to move on to a final. So in this case, you have to pass 2 training games, and then you have to pass 1 final.
And that's the minimum requirements for everybody. So it's no longer going to be someone can get their firefighter 1 tag if they pass 1 training game and they pass their final. Now, the way they have to do it, the minimum is they have to pass 2 training games and then they have to pass 1 final. So we're actually, in a sense, adding another training game in where members will have to play 2 training games and then a final to pass. Minimum requirements.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Some people could use the extra training game, and it shouldn't be that big of a problem. That's what we're thinking about. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the biggest issue is people aren't getting trained. They sit down and they do training in 1, and a lot of the training instructors just watch them. They don't tell them. It's not a training game. It's as if they're doing a final and they fail them. So I'm fine with doing the 2 training games because it gives the trainers an opportunity to actually train the people.
And we've been working on that. I know, Javi, you've been sitting around with a couple of the lieutenants kind of telling them how to train and things like that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, and I want to say telling y'all how to train. Everybody trains different, but just seeing that y'all are actually training and not just, like you said, Jazz, just sitting there and just watching people.
I mean, examples is Cam Hizzo, we spent hours going over every single tag. He still failed. That was his fault. That's totally fine. But I know that him going into the paramedic game, he knew exactly what he had to do, how he had to do it. And that's the way it should be, even with these firefighter ones. Before they go into the game, you need to make sure that they know exactly what they have to do and how they have to do it, not teach them it while you're in the game. I mean, that's what the SOG session is for, and there's nothing saying that you can't work with them out of the game for a while just to make sure that they know what they're doing.
Now, here's the second part of it. So let me just really just do it as best as I can. All tier 1 trainings, you have 3 attempts to pass 2 training games and 2 attempts to pass 1 final. If you pass training game 1, you move on to training game 2. If you fail training game 1, you must pass training game 2 and 3 to get your 2 in order to move on to final 1. If you pass your final 1, you get your certification. You got your 2 training games passed and you got your final passed, you're good. If you fail training game 1, you must pass final 2 to get your certification because you still need to pass at least one of your finals. That's where we're looking to do it.
It sounds confusing, but basically, in a nutshell, like I said, everybody has to pass 2 training games and 1 final to get their cert, period. That's it.
And that's going to be for tier 1, and I'm looking for tier 2 tags.
So tier 2 tags is no longer going to be 1?
I mean, that's what I'm looking at. If y'all still want it to be 1, that's fine. What is y'all opinion? Do y'all think that a tier 2 tag needs to have 2 games in a final, or you think it just should have a final, like a tier 3?
I would say, well, for tier 1, 2 trainings, I'm fine with that. I'm asking for that for a while now. And for tier 2, I would say just 1 game to show everything, practice a little bit, and then go to your final. I think 2 is too much for tier 2.
And,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, and just to, look at it again, tier 2 training, that is a final game with their SOG orientation.
Yeah, actual training game like in tier 1, but just 1 and then a final.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So tier 2 would be 1 training game and then you move on to your final, not 2 training games.
Yeah.
I like the idea, but you have to understand we're trying to simplify things, and we're trying to, if we do that, we're going to have a different scenario for every single tier. Tier 1 is going to be the 2 training games, Tier 2 is going to be the 1 training game, and Tier 3 is going to be no training games, straight to a final. And we were kind of trying to simplify things. The whole thing is you have to remember we're trying to make these simplified for the people who are going to take office after us in the training department. So that's the whole keep it simple, stupid. That was the whole kind of physiology of it.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't see the point of having 2 training games for a tier 2 tag. They technically should know what to do, and
I don't think you're coming out anymore.
for the rest, I don't know.
Yeah, his.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear him.
What?
Well, 2-1 nothing could work. I mean, you just got to remember that. 2-1 nothing. I mean, 2 training games for tier 1, 1 training game for tier 2, and 0 training games for tier 3. We could look at that. That could be something we could do. Because
That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, I didn't like the idea of tier 2 not having any training games, because tier 2 is technically a trainable tag, and you do have your training instructor manuals and skills you have to accomplish. So, in my opinion, it does need a training game, and that's why I was saying let's make it the same as tier 1, because I don't like the whole fact of just doing a final. That for a tier 3, that's fine because you got to show that off. But, I mean, it could work. Eddie, what do you think? I know you want to simplify it, but
I do it if you want. That's fine. We're gonna have to have we're gonna have to have another rule in there now. So we're gonna go back to the, we're having a different rule, 3 different rules for all 3 different tags. I mean, if people can understand it, that's fine. Do it.
I think I'm okay with it just because we are getting rid of a few rules, so kind of adding one's not that big of a problem. We're getting rid of some. Okay, so in this case, tier 2 must be done with the lieutenant or above. So an FTO, when we do get them, which I'll talk about later, it can't do a tier 2 game. It has to be done with a lieutenant or above, and it's not going to be the same format as tier 1. Tier 2 tag is going to be at least 1 training game and at least 1 final. Now, what if you fail your test? How many attempts do you have in order to pass that 1 training game?
3.
All 3?
I mean, they have 3 attempts to pass any training games. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the KISS thing, I would say, 3 chances of it. Technically, they should only need 1.
That's what I'm saying. So if you have 3 chances to pass 1 training game, you're making it easier to get your certification than tier 1, because tier 1 you have 3 chances to pass 2 training games.
But remember, we're here to pass them. We're not here to fail them.
Okay, that's all right. So we'll just keep that loophole in there. They have 3 attempts to pass 1 training game, 2 attempts to pass 1 final. Moving on, Tier 3 tag is now... I was always confused on what we're calling an evaluation game, what we're calling a recertification game, what we're calling a... There were so many names. So the only evaluation game that we're looking at is Tier 3. That's what's going to be called an evaluation game. The member must have a Tier 2 or higher to nominate someone or themselves for Tier 3 tag. A member can only be nominated 3 times per year. I don't even think... Hopefully people keep up with that. I know I don't. Hopefully Eddie does. You must hold a Tier 2 cert for 3 months before being eligible, so no longer 6 months. Members aren't allowed to nominate themselves. And ranks must be earned through an evaluation game. This is the only evaluation game, and this is what it includes. And we're going to talk about how they get nominated for Tier 3 after I explain this. It has to have 2 officers instead of 3 now, because it was kind of hard to get 3 officers in the game. 1 officer must be a rank of captain or above. Obviously, that 1 officer must hold the certification that they're going for, so the Tier 3 certification. And after the game is done, then the officers will get together and they will talk about it. A Tier 3 is just 1 final game. It's a pass or no pass game. That's it.
Now, in the sense of the whole, why we got confused with the evaluation game is because, remember, there's only one way that you can go for an evaluation game. That's Tier 3. That's the only evaluation game out there. Now, there's also what we call a research or recertification game, and there's 2 ways you can go for that. Number 1, if you come back and it's been 6 months, you have to come back for the research, and that's when new people come back. And number 2, if any of y'all decide that someone needs to be recertified in a course, then you can put them up for a recertification, and then they will do a recert game. So there's 2 ways to go for a recert, and there's 1 way to go for an evaluation.
Now, what do you guys think about Tier 3 having to be nominated? What do y'all think about just having it the same as far as putting a training request?
Personally, I think it's a good idea because I kind of see Tier 1 as in you kind of know it's enough that you can play it. Tier 2 is like, okay, he's good, but then Tier 3 is supposed to be like the guys who are really good. They should be nominated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can nominate yourself. So what is kind of the point of nomination?
Well, I would say make it also in regarding to keep it simple. Let them apply for it. Simple as that. Get rid of the whole thing of nominating and stuff. Just let them apply for it. If you get it for 3 months, okay, I can apply,
That's what I'd
for
say.
it.
See, I like the idea of nomination because I liked it when you couldn't nominate yourself. So it was like you really impressed someone that they would nominate you. But the problem was people weren't looking for people to impress them. They wouldn't be putting up people for nomination. Like I would forget to. If someone's really good in a game, I'd be like, I would forget to nominate them. So that's why we kind of changed it to you can nominate yourself. But since we put in nominate yourself, what's really the point of nomination?
Exactly. And well, technically, what you can say is if you want to put it like, okay, you just have to apply for it, someone else can apply for you. It can be done for everything, basically.
What do you think, Eddie?
I don't know. I think if we change it in 3 months, we're going to change it back to nomination. That's why it's kind of I'm a little iffy about it.
I mean, the way it is now, and I'll just say this one thing: the way it is now is, if someone wants a Tier 3, all they're gonna do is ask someone else to nominate them for Tier 3, so it wouldn't look like they're nominating themselves. But,
which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. We can keep it. It's fine. So, with everything I said, I don't think y'all need me to go over all the changes that are being made again. I think y'all got it. Is everybody good with it? Anybody got concerns? Anything like that? Or are we good to kind of pass this? We already got the Chiefs' approval. They're good with it. They wanted us to bring it to you guys. We're good for
just
it?
to be sure, the thing about the Tier 2 is just 1 training game in the final, right?
Yeah, I wrote it down. Tier 2 is 1 training game and 1 final, and then obviously they're going to have the 3 attempts to do 1 training game. Actually, there was something I didn't even talk about, the dispatch. Hold on. That's a whole nother thing, and I don't have it here.
I really think it's better for us to keep it like it is, because there's no room to go anywhere else. Maybe restrict the finals to 3 times, but for trainings you do need 3 trainings for that.
You're talking about for dispatch?
Yeah, for dispatch.
Yeah, we're keeping it the way it is. DL kind of made a point that dispatch is a little harder. I wanted to keep dispatch in the same playing field as everybody else because that's what we've been trying to do for the past year. We added dispatch to 3 tags, and I wanted to keep it, but we decided to just keep it the same.
So just to verify, for dispatch, you're gonna have 4 attempts to pass 3 training games. Correct?
Yeah.
You're gonna have 2 attempts to pass 1 final.
So that's changing.
I mean, or do you want to keep it now? You have 3 attempts to pass 2 finals.
I would personally say for dispatch, keep it as it is. 4 attempts for 3 training games and 3 attempts for 1 final.
3
It is
attempts for
already
1
hard
final.
enough. Yeah, it's always been like that.
Okay, so everybody agree? Everybody's good?
If we're keeping it the same way, it's fine.
All right, hold on. What about tier 2 and 3? Dispatch. That's a big one, huh?
I say we just follow the original tier 2 and 3 rules.
Well, do we already know what needs
Oh,
to
I'd
be
keep
done
tier 2 the same as all the rest.
So tier 3 would be you have 4 attempts. This is dispatch tier 2. You have 4 attempts to pass 1 training game, and you have 3 attempts to pass a final.
But wait, as for as long as I know about this, it's always been said you need to be trained on the advanced cat, sorry, and your final can be done on either advanced or basic. That's how I've been told.
Well, no, that's fine. I'm talking about how many attempts you get.
Well, technically, I understand by being trained on is just me and, well, an officer sits down with the member wanting to get tier 2, explaining how the advanced cat works a little bit with it, and that's it. He's trained in it. He knows how it works. And then go to the final, and then he can decide whether to go with the advanced or the basic cat.
So then we can keep it where the SOG instruction is going to be them sitting down together and going over the advanced tag, so you would sign them off on that. They do 1 training game because they have to kind of show that they could work the advanced cat in game, and then they do a final, and they get to choose whether or not they want to use the advanced or the regular cat.
Yeah, and I would even just sitting down with them explaining the advanced cat count as a training game.
So do they have to actually play a game?
No, they have to play a game. We have to have them play a game.
Yeah, but then the point is, the advanced cat is pretty hard to learn, and to say straight away, okay, now you're trained, now you need to do a training game with the advanced cat, then they're probably gonna complain about it.
We need to figure out what we're doing with this advanced cat because I know Kix fixed it, but no one likes it. I mean, at least none of the training instructors like training on it, and it's too hard. And it's kind of like we need to figure out if we're going to either use it for tier 2 or not, because we can't do this whole thing where, oh well, they need to learn how to use it, but they don't need to pass off on it. Like that doesn't make sense. So I think later on, I don't know if we got to do it today, but we got to figure out what we're going to do with this dispatch tier 2 advanced.
I would like to suggest that if you do want to have an actual game of dispatch too, to just say like, okay, tier 1 has to be good at basic cat, tier 2 has to be better, and tier 3 has to be excellent on basic cat.
But then where does the advanced cat come and play?
You just train them, like sitting down with them, like this is how it works. If you want to use it, very good for you. If you don't want to use it, good as well.
See, I don't like that. I don't. If we're
I
gonna,
know, but
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We need to sit down and we need to figure out what we're gonna do with this advanced CAD because I'm to the point where I just want to scratch it. No one's using it.
How many
So-
people are
I-
applying for dispatch too?
Whoa. That's the only one I use, and I can name 2 to 3 other people that use it primarily, and one of them is one of our most active dispatchers. That's the only one I'll use. I don't like the basic. It's disorganized and it just shits everywhere. It doesn't group things together. But don't just scratch it. Someone's put a lot of work into making that for us, and we have other members in the process of making different ones because they like the idea so much.
Well, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with it then, and we're gonna have to incorporate it in this Dispatch 2 training, or we need to figure out if how we're gonna incorporate it in Dispatch 2 training or not, because right now it's just a mess. Not the CAD itself. I'm talking about the procedure.
Okay.
Well, the advanced CAD, I like the idea about it, but the currently advanced CAD that we have, I don't like it. It's too many steps to get a unit dispatched.
I mean, look. I mean, I've played around a lot with the advanced dispatch, and I think if we just like find a very simple way to get a call started, it would really fix it instead of having to find like, here's the location, here's blah 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 blah, what's this, what's that, and then you can assign units. If you can just say, here's what type of call is, here's the thing, and just have it quick, simple, then that should really speed up everything and make it a lot easier.
Well,
on
the
everyone.
problem that we have is, and Kix, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we cannot edit it anymore. The coding cannot be edited. We can edit some text, but we can't edit the coding. We don't know how to.
Well, and with whoever was just speaking, sorry, I'm going down the road so I couldn't see. You don't have to put a location in, and even though there's at-risks around something that might require or make it look like it requires you to put another engine, you don't have to. If you hit save changes, it's going to go through. I have been known to click on 21A, hit dispatch units, and not put anything else in until later after I get units on the way.
I think later on in the week we'll figure out what we're going to do with this Dispatch 2, if we're going to end up incorporating it or not, and how we're going to incorporate it in this Dispatch 2 certification, the Advanced CAD, because, like I said, we've been kind of sitting on it, and if we're going to train people how to use it in Dispatch 2, then we're going to make them do a final on it, or at least check them off on a training game of it, because we can't just tell them, hey, I kind of have to go over how to use it, but you don't have to play it, like, I don't have to see you do it in a game. It doesn't make no sense.
So for now, I mean,
We're talking about the process. We were talking about the process.
I know. Hold on.
I say we just keep the same process for Dispatch 2 as a Tier 2 game. You have...
How many people have been going for Dispatch 2?
We've been having quite a few for the past couple of months.
For dispatch
because
2 or 1?
2.
This is gonna suck because now I'm gonna be adding rules to the training rules for Tier 1, 2, and 3 Fire EMS and PD. And then I just realized I'm gonna have to add a whole set of rules, new rules for Tier 1, 2, and 3 for dispatch.
That's why I was. That's what gets me.
It's not the same.
I know. We can't. They don't want to treat it as the same as the other certifications.
I mean, I understand it's harder, but I mean, in y'all's honest opinion, do they need that much training? Is it that much harder? Do they need that much more training in order to complete it?
I'd tell you to just do it the same way we do on the others. 2 training games have to be passed on your first attempt at dispatch, because if we're here to pass them, we're here to teach them how to do it, and then they have 1 attempt or 3 attempts to do their 1 final. And then after that on Tier 2, do it the same. Make them do 1 training game and 1 final.
The problem is most members don't actually train or practice games. They just, whatever training they get from their training game is what they do.
Well, then that's their fault. If they're going for dispatch...
No, it is, but that's what I'm just saying. That's why.
Yeah, if they're going for dispatch, we should inform them, look, Dispatch is extremely hard, especially because you got the same amount of games that you do for fire and EMS and PD. If we do this, and we gotta tell them you're gonna have to practice and go over your shit before you try this game.
Well, and you got to make sure the trainers are going to train. If they're screwing up in the middle of their training game, you got to pause the game and help them understand what they're messing up on and how to do it right.
So, in what I'm hearing from Javi and Eddie, that it would be easier on the training staff to put it with the same rules you guys were just discussing with Tier 1, 2, 3 on all the other certifications.
That's correct. And did you hear kind of the rules we want to change as far as those certifications?
Yeah, I did. I was fine with all that. I wouldn't have a personal problem with allowing you to see how that works. I feel like, and I can't back this up, I feel like the reason we gave them more games and higher standards was because the fail rate went up so high when we first started implementing everything going through. So I think that's why we switched it to where they have to have more training. But I guess if you guys want to try to see if we've overcome that or if it comes back to being a higher fail rate for it, I guess you guys can look and see.
I agree. I think we could try
I
it.
think it's worth a shot.
See, I mean, you guys are the dispatch training guys. I don't like dispatch. I don't do it. So I want to see what you guys think.
Well, there is one thing that I'm thinking for a while now, but in the whole thing would keep it simple. It's conflicting, but I've been wanted to ask for a while now to have them have at least fire one for like a month or so, because the thing I've witnessed is that a lot of them that came in as probie and gone straight to dispatch had actually some troubles with the run cards. And if they already been trained in fire, they don't have that problem anymore because they know the run cards already.
That is a great idea.
But we're not going to go back to that. The whole reason we put it where they don't need any certifications for dispatch is because if they decide that they want to come right out of the gate as a probie and train for dispatch, then they're allowed to. We can't hold them back. Yeah, they're probably going to fail, but advise them that it's hard. It's like we have four different difficulty levels when they first join. We have easy, which is EMS. We have medium, which is PD. We have hard, which is firing, and we have very hard, which is dispatch. They get you choose what they want to do. I just don't want to go back to the old way.
Yeah,
And I know people
I
saying. I know what you're saying, but I personally want to have the pass rate go up and the fill rate go down. But if you allow people to go straight to dispatch, you're gonna keep the fill rate at the same height as the pass rate at this moment.
So what do we do with the members that don't want to play the game and just want to dispatch?
Well, to be very honest, I question myself, why do you want to be in an emergency for clan if you don't want to play a game?
Well, maybe they like dispatching, just like I
Yeah, I
hate
know,
playing
I
EMS
know,
in a
I
game,
know.
so I'm not going to do it.
And
The only thing I'd say is the last two people that have joined that I know of that went for dispatch straight away did pass. Yes, they had more trouble, but they did pass.
And if they're fouling, if we see that they're fouling as dispatch, they can switch at any time to another certification. We can tell them, hey, you're fouling as dispatch. If you keep on going at this rate, you're going to fail out of dispatch, so we recommend that you switch to another cert first. I mean, we can always advise them.
well, here's maybe another idea. Throw in a fire training game for them. Like a very easy, maybe one-to-one fire training for them, so they get acknowledged with first the run cards and a little bit with the map, so they actually know what's going on that map.
See, but you're making it too easy. It's like, if they know they're going for dispatch and they didn't know the run cards, then they should learn the run cards. We shouldn't have to... I know it's our job to teach them, yes, but I always take the physiology as if you know you're going for the certification that's really, really hard, then you should study up material more in order to know it so you can pass the first time. And I think that's what these guys who passed, like PB, straight out of the gate, he passed dispatch because he studied those run cards.
Yeah, but
Well, there's a problem
honestly,
with that.
how much
I mean,
trouble did we have with him?
Go ahead, IMAX.
I'm not gonna talk badly about the training instructor. I don't even know who, but I can tell you right now, after listening into several of his games and participating, yeah, he is okay at dispatch, but he does a lot of things that are not well, I wouldn't say like bad, but they're not good. Like he constantly repeats things that are not needed to repeat. That just adds time and just confuses people and takes people off the air when they need to be talking. Another thing is that he always has to really think about what he's doing. Like if he gets a call in for box 22 on horn, he doesn't immediately know what unit to send. He doesn't immediately know.
Let me
That's
ask you
something that
this.
like I already do.
Let me ask you this. What's the difference between that and a new firefighter 1?
Yeah, that's what when you sit in the game and you listen to the guys, you have to think in the back of your head: is he suitable enough to be a dispatcher 1? That's basic. Does he know the basic ideas to be a dispatcher? He's not going to be great like some of the other guys, but he's suitable enough in order to do the job.
Yeah, I mean, you guys want. I'm eating cookies. It's everyone seems to want like this like godly awesome dispatcher. In some games, you're just not gonna have it. If you want a dispatcher, you have to deal with what you got, and it's just like a game. You guys want to have an awesome game? Well, you want to have a game. You deal with what you have, and sometimes you have a fire 1 or an EMTB or something playing fire, and everything you just said, they do the same thing, but in game and even worse because they're in the game and they're causing chaos on the map. So you just gotta kind of work with it and just help them. Eventually, they'll start to learn.
Okay. I think that we would be able to go to 3 attempts at passing. Just keep it the same as fire, EMS, and PD for dispatch. We would be able to do that as long as number one, your trainers that are doing dispatch are actually training as best as you can, because just know that it's extremely difficult. And I don't know who me and Eddie are gonna look at for sitting down with them, just like I'm doing with the fire. I think Eddie's gonna do the same with the dispatch to make sure you guys are training. And second, if you guys just always keep in the back of your mind that this is dispatch 1, they're not gonna be the best they can ever be. As long as they have a general understanding and they can do it, then I see no problem with passing them. But I would like to try it. Let's try it and see how it works.
Sounds good.
User disconnected from your channel.
Okay. I think we're done with changes in the training department, the rules we're looking to make. Maybe tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow, so maybe Sunday they should be published. Kix, do you know when the next meeting is? All hands.
Uh-uh.
All right, we'll see if we're gonna wait for the all hands meeting to say it, or we're just gonna announce it in a forum post, because it's a pretty big change and people need to make sure that they understand it. We might put an RNU forum post, make sure everybody does that. Next thing I want to go over is how the new roster works. That we got rid of the profiles. Kix, do you want me to talk about it, or do you want to explain it? You probably explain it a little bit better than me.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so it's extremely simple. When you add someone to the roster, when they became a recruit, after they did their orientation, when you do all that information, you put every single information that is in that box in. So, you put the birthday, you put the day they joined, you put their age, everything. You add that information when you go to the edit panel of the admin. Most of the information, all the information that you need is going to be found in the application responses. So look at that and just put it in, and you should be good. When you promote someone from a recruit to a probie, all you have to do is just switch them from a recruit to probie on the roster. You shouldn't have to put anything else in, because whoever did the orientation and added them as a recruit on the roster should have put all that information in. And then when you give them a certification, you just add them to the roster, or move them on the roster to whatever certification they get, but you put the date that they acquired the certification inside of that area under the admin panel for their name on the roster, so we know, when they got it, and that's it. There's no more profiles. I mean, it should be simple enough. I think people are making a little bit of mistakes still, but I think slowly we'll catch on. It's not too difficult. So no more captains and anybody above making profiles. Everybody basically makes profiles now.
Yeah, sorry, I already fucked up on that part.
Well, it wasn't just you. Okay, Cammy. So I don't know if a lot of you know, and I'm not gonna speak on it too much, but there was an incident that happened with Cammy. It's being investigated. Um, if like Francis, I probably should apologize to you. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I kind of told you you couldn't come up. I wasn't in a very good mood. I didn't want to talk. I was very frustrated about what happened.
Yeah, no problem having the problem. I understand.
But it's getting handled. Part of kind of an investigation is I want to ask all you guys if y'all seen him or if y'all, know of him doing really anything that he shouldn't be doing that regards to not just to training, but I mean, y'all are officers, so y'all on team speak. Do y'all have anything that y'all may like want to say that about him, or has he done anything or anything like that?
Who are we talking about?
KME.
I think I already put everything in the officer chat.
It was still in the Voxer, but he and PBZ are both like trying to grab members to kind of rally against the officers, and they're not talking to liaisons really.
I think the biggest problem that we have seen, and you have to understand that this is totally wrong, and as the command staff and even the chiefs up there, they totally agree with it. PB and KME are not training instructors. If they ever decide or ask if they can sit in when you are training or when you're in talking to another person in the office, you say no. It's up to you, but you can say no and you will not get in trouble. There's been many times where after a training game, PB said, "Oh, I trained him, so can I sit in the office with you after you talk?" No, you can't. You can't because you're not a training instructor. And we've informed PB and KME, we've let them know numerous times. You can train these guys, but number one, this training's not going to be on record. You are not a training instructor, and you have to make sure that it's okay first with the person that you're training. So any
Well,
member is allowed to go over training, unofficial training with any other member. That's fine. But it's not a training game, and we've stressed that many times that it's not a training session.
well, they first of all need to stop saying that it's a training. They can call it practice, whatever they want, but they need to stop calling it a training. Training is for officers only. Simple as that.
I mean, I got freaked
And
out when one of
and
these
yeah,
members came up to me and they were like, "Hey, you didn't put my training on the training sheet." I was like, "Okay, well, who is your instructor? PB?" Hell no, he wasn't your instructor.
exactly. And the thing is, as of now, there are members generally thinking that KME and BZ are training instructors, and that needs to stop at once.
You know, KME messaged me today. A new guy came in and KME messaged me today and say, "Hey, he's new. I'm gonna go over stuff with him." And I told him, number one, you can go over stuff with him. That's fine. But you better let him know that it's not official. You're not a training instructor. He better agree to it. And not only that, if you're playing in a game, it's going to be an ops game. It's not going to be a tac game because it's not considered a training game. And you better let everybody else know in the room that you're going to be helping him out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're trying to show that they can train to maybe show that maybe one day they can be a lieutenant or um, an FTO, but this is the wrong way to do it. They're stepping on officers. They're stepping on you guys' toes, and he stepped on my toes too, and I got pissed. So yeah, we talked to him about it, and hopefully it'll stop. From what I heard from both of them, they're gonna back off. They're gonna stop. If they don't, then it's gonna get, the Chiefs are gonna get involved. They're gonna take some sort of action. But just I mean, so y'all should know. We talked to them. We know that it's going on, and they said they were gonna stop. So I would just say keep an eye on them, especially KME. Just keep an eye on both of them and let us know if they do anything that, you know, that's unbecoming of a member.
Just as a please keep your ears open. I've heard similar things happen, not with trainings, but with orientations done by not Cami, but PBZ, and this also happened with Mentor back when he was still here.
What, they were doing orientations?
Or I'm not sure if they told them they're doing orientations, but members considered it orientation. So like I would talk to recruit, and it's like, okay, who did your orientation? Because when I was doing their pad test, I'm like, oh, Mentor did. No, he didn't.
You know, they get pissed off because people get on that need to do training or to do an orientation. There's no officer on. I mean, I'm sorry, we have other stuff to do. There's not going to be an officer on all the time, and they're just going to have to sit and wait. And they get mad, PB and them, because they're like, well, an officer should be on, and then they take it into their own hands. Well, it's not going to work like that.
Yeah,
No.
we need to be all on the same team, guys. I mean, we all realize that they are not trained instructors. I just don't want any rumors to be spreading around thinking that I've or Kix or DL or any of the chiefs allowed them to do this stuff, because we haven't. And we've talked to them, and we're not telling PB and KB that it's okay to step on the toes. No, we're not saying that. And I know Kix had already enough with KME. I mean, this whole week Kix has been having to do an investigation. He's going to have a lot more investigations to do, and it sucks, but they're handling it out there, and they've been working day in and day out trying to figure out this. I mean, on Boxer, all they do is talk about it, so they're figuring it out, and something's going to be done soon, hopefully.
Now, IMAX, you brought a point. Mitigating drama. Is there something you want to say about that?
I mean, you've kind of talked about most. I mean, the two things that I've seen most drama on is the PBZ/Cami and the failing on someone on training. So I've seen this happen with many other people. It's not so much like I want to bring this up as to make a point. Is I just want to hear if anyone else has any suggestions for other officers to like mitigate drama that's a result of someone failing. So I mean, as everyone here knows about, after I got my dispatch tag, I had to redo my training because PBZ thought that like I had apparently done the same thing that Wheels failed him on like not that long ago. I just want. Is there any tips or for anyone else of like mitigating drama as a result?
Well, sorry to jump in here, but BZ came to me along with KME. That's why I started that thread on After Chat. They both came to me like he fucked up this and this and this, and I just told him that look, he was his final was done by two chiefs for that matter, and I'm not gonna go to those two chiefs and say you did wrong. He need to do it again. Simple as that. No discussion allowed. Simple as that. And I hope they took it like it was. Because I'm getting pretty tired that members are coming to officers like, hey, you need to redo that because that officer did do wrong. No, that officer has the right to do whatever he done.
Well, and the funny thing is, you say members. I mean, really, it's only 2 people. But
Well, they're getting more.
No, but as I was about to say, I have seen them starting to get more. People are starting to get on their side, and that's why we're trying to stop it now. I mean, they're on every single hour of every single day, and all they do is talk to other members. And I mean, come on, if you're a new guy that comes in and you don't know anybody, and you hear these two guys talking, you might kind of go to their side because they're the first person you heard talking, and you don't know any better. And that's what we're trying to prevent. Okay, Martin. So as you guys know, Martin was removed from the captain position. Kix just wants me to let you guys know that ever since he's been removed from the captain position, he's been starting to cause little bickers and a little drama. Not as much KME or PB, but just a little things here and there. I guess he just wants me to let you guys know, just be aware of it. He's probably still a little upset because he lost the position. That's not saying you let it go. If he does anything that you feel, is not that should be handled, sure, let us know. It's just kind of keep an eye on him because he kind of is a little. I think he's still upset.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, and I kindly told him that he's being awkward. When he was an officer, he was never around. I said it to him a couple of times, like, hey, make a forum post or something. Let everybody know why you're not that active. And he's like, yeah. And now he's demoted and he's on here every damn day. That's being stupid.
It's weird. I don't know. It happens a lot. I kind of got a name for it. I call it the new girlfriend syndrome. It's like you want a girlfriend slash the position, and you're on and you want to show that you want them, and then when you finally get the girlfriend, you're like, oh, okay, well, what do I do now? It's awkward. You stop coming on and stuff, and I think that's the way sometimes it happens. You want the lieutenant position, officer position, you get it, and now you're like, okay, well, I mean, I don't really know what to do. I don't know who to talk to, and you just kind of start fading off, and it sucks that it happens, but it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, but then at least take it like a man.
Yeah.
I've been demoted from captain as well for reasons, and I'm like, okay, I gave it my best shot. You're correct. I've done bad. Simple as that. And if tomorrow Kiggs decides me that he can't stand me anymore as a lieutenant, I'll take it as a man and still stay here. I'm maybe too stubborn for moving.
Okay, Eddie, you're up. I just got your training stats, and I'm going to talk about the office position as a whole, and we should be good. But go ahead, Eddie, training stats.
All right. 55 minutes after. It's all right. We talked about most of the stuff. So I just wanted to give an update of what I call the first quarter, I guess. Obviously, it's been 3 months since the beginning of the year. Almost 3 months since the beginning of the year, so I kind of just wanted to get a little highs of what happened since the 3 months. First off, the instructor sheets have been implemented. They're full force. I have not heard any feedback as far as training instructors don't know how to train now. It seems like everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows exactly what the member needs to be trained on, and it's great. I don't have any PAS anymore. I don't have no complaints from anybody about exactly what needs to be trained on from the members or the instructors. So that's good. That was the goal of it. If anything needs to be edited still, we will revise it. We haven't done a revision, and we were supposed to do one last month, but we don't have anything to revise besides spelling errors, which is Hobby's problem. But other than that, I mean, there's really nothing. Other than that, our probies have been narrowed down like crazy, which I think has to do part with we're getting the trainings done. Now we finally have more members in probies, which wasn't an issue for a while. We've had more probies than members for like December and January. February and March, they're finally gone. And I think that was to back up from the holidays that we weren't removing them, but also I do think that everybody's doing their job. I think everybody is doing their trainings. And I have the stats I'm going to say to clarify that. I believe that we did get the training turnaround time back to normal. As of right now, the average time it takes a probie to get trained, if he's on most of the time, is probably 1 to 2 weeks. And that's totally acceptable. I think that that's fine. Some people take a little longer. Some people. I saw a person who was done in training with in 4 days or 5 days, which is the shortest you can do it. But it's happening, so that's good. We're getting these people done. We're getting these people checked off. We were going to be introducing the new and easy training rules that Hobby talked about. I think that also what we've accomplished is we finally got dispatch 1, 2, and 3. We're still kind of working on it a little, but we did implement that whole 3 tags in the dispatch that we wanted to do for a while, and we did it, so it's done. And I think everybody's working as a team now, and everybody's doing their part, which is something that we want to see in the training department. We're having the training meetings. We're working as a team. This will be recorded and uploaded so other people who miss the training meetings will listen to it, and I think it's just overall good. We do have a Tier 3 training day coming up on Sunday, and that's just basically whoever needs that Tier 3 training, which as of right now, there's 2 people. Fire Raid 1 and Dow, those are the only 2 people, but that's the day that they will be on to get those Tier 3. So if any officers can make it on that Sunday, it's an all-day event, go ahead and make it. I know I'll be on. I think Hobby should be on.
User disconnected from your channel.
Other than that, the training stats for the month of February. So I did get the numbers in. Let me wait till Max gets down here.
User joined your channel.
I did get the numbers in for the month of February. We were kind of talking about implementing a minimum training requirement. I know I didn't want to do it, but the chiefs have kind of been pushing for it, and I think it's a good idea. As of right now.
Also, just to interrupt, what I'm going to talk about next, which is the officers, the amount of officers we're looking at, you'll see why we kind of want to implement it. But go ahead, Eddie.
So as of right now, what we're looking at is a minimum of 5 trainings per month that you have to do as a lieutenant. Now, those 5 trainings can be done in 1 week. Those 5 trainings can be done within 4 weeks, but it has to be a minimum of 5 trainings per month. And I think everybody should be able to follow that. We're going to try it, and I think we're going to make it a rule. I'm going to talk to Pix, and I think we should make it a rule. I think that's fair enough for everybody. 5 trainings should be enough. As of right now, the training stats, Steven, 14 trainings in the month of February, so you're well above that. Jazzer, 18 trainings within the month of February, you're well above that. IMAX, you did 8 trainings, which you are above the minimum, and I understand that you had, you took the vacation and other things. I know in the month of February, you also had some problems where you had to get trained off on some things, but you still did it. You did 8, which is fine. Francis, you did a total of 25, so you're well above that, and you were a captain for like half of that month, so you should be fine with that. Wills did a total of 12. Javi did the minimum, which is 5, and I did a total of 7. The odd one out is Lucas. Lucas did 0 trainings in the month of February. He did not do 1 training game, 1 orientation, or nothing. And I've warned him already. So I know he's not here, but he's in the grounds of being removable. He needs to start getting on and start doing these trainings. I know he posted that farm post, but I can't have a lieutenant on that is not pulling his weight. Wills is still not here. He's on an LOA, so I need these lieutenants on. So that's just, an advice that, we understand he has not been around, and the stats show that he has not done any trainings. Other than that, like I said, 5 trainings per month. Everybody should be able to do it, and we'll probably end up making that rule. Other than that, I think I should be good to go.
Okay, officer positions inside the training department. We all talked about it. When me and Eddie got the decision to get 6 lieutenants, we admitted that it was because we were freaked out because there's so much trainings, and we all agreed that we're very tired of switching it. We can have 3 captains, we're going to have 2 captains, we're going to have 6 lieutenants, 5 lieutenants, we can 2 FTOs, blah, blah, blah. So we're kind of making a set rule of what we're going to have, and we're going to stick with that no matter how many members we get. This is the officer positions we are sticking with. They're always going to be most likely filled. Everything should be filled, and like I said, this is we're sticking with. Chiefs are not going to Chiefs are going to stay the same. Don't worry about that. 1 battalion chief, 2 captains, 4 lieutenants, 2 FTOs. The FTO, it's just not going to be 6 lieutenants because the 2 FTOs are going to be taking a part of lieutenants. They're just going to be, no admin privileges. Now you kind of see why we're really looking at that minimum participation requirements of whatever you want to call it of 5 trainings per month. Because if we only have 4 lieutenants, and by the way, Eddie kind of said a little bit wrong. That minimum participation, whatever, is going to be through everybody that's required to do trainings, from the battalion chief down to the FTOs. Everybody, me, Eddie, and then all the lieutenants and all the 2 FTOs. With 4 lieutenants in here, we need to make sure that every single lieutenant that we have in that position is accomplishing their goal of getting these trainings done. If a lieutenant takes an LOA, we're going to have to really inform him, hey, I mean, dude, we need that position. We need you to be training. I understand stuff comes up, and it's going to be a case-by-case basis, but that's what we're looking at. Right now, we have 6 lieutenants. The captain position, 1 week from now.
Not 1 week from now, 3 days from now. It closes tomorrow.
It said the 25th.
Closed on the 25th?
Yeah.
It said on the 25th.
Oh.
I mean, I'm thinking that's a week's too long, but we got to give these people the chance to put in these requests in if they haven't, the applications.
I thought it closed today, okay.
Being said, on the 25th, as soon as it closes, I can be almost guaranteed that captain position is going to happen right away because it's already a very long wait. Most likely, and this is not a guarantee, most likely the captain's going to come from existing lieutenants. We're not going to be promoting people past anybody anymore. I mean, it kind of sucks that happened and it happened in the past, but I think we're going to look at if we need if we need a lieutenant, we're going to be looking at the FTOs. If we need a captain, we're going to be looking at the lieutenants. So most likely it's going to come from the lieutenants. Now, this is not set, but I'm almost positive as soon as we get that captain position, we're going to get 2 FTOs. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We have applications on file already. Anybody can put in an application at any time. So whoever put in for FTO, most likely is going to get it. If you're a current lieutenant, even though we said we only want 4 lieutenants, we're not going to demote you because we only want to have the 4. If you're a lieutenant, you're staying a lieutenant. Um, and that's it. So for right now, there's that grace period where we're just going to keep all these lieutenants, but later on down the line, we are going to just want 4 lieutenants. We are going to want 2 FTOs. Recruiter, I mean, I don't know. That's something that we can look at in the future, um, but other than that, we're good to go. One last thing for the FTOs. Kix brought up a good point. It's really not feasible to only have 1 FTO. If we're gonna have 1, we might as well have 2 because that gives them they can kind of compete for each other. They know they're gonna be the next ones really in line to get a lieutenant position unless something really drastic happens. So it's good to have 2 to have them compete with each other. So it's not like, well, I'm just the only FTO. I know I'm gonna get the lieutenant. No, you're gonna have some competition. Other than that, I think we should be good. I'm looking at my list. Eddie, do you have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up?
I have a suggestion. I
Go
know
ahead.
we have a suggestion board for it, but I want to have some feedback first. After I did my paramedic, actually, I was thinking about something. Maybe have something new for EMS called EMS Plan. Basically, quick rundown. First EMS unit on scene can call in the EMS plan, which will consist of a engine, fire engine for QRS, an automatic, and an MCU. Basically for major events. Maybe dumb it down to maybe MCIs as well for more patients, but something like that to give EMS something new to do.
I'm kind of scared saying this, but I actually kind of like it.
It's basically what we already do when we have 10 or more patients, but put into a box basically called EMS plan.
So
And
whenever
maybe
the EMS implements a major incident or a mass casualty incident, the EMS plan is automatically enforced, and they get extra resources on scene to help them out.
yeah, basically. Well, it's always per user discretion if they want to call it in good, if they don't want to call it in also good, but just give something extra to do to keep it interested for everybody.
I like it too. I mean, it's not bad. We would have to make another. I think we have to probably make another box, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's going to get updated with Harbor City 5 because of the new implements they're going.
Well, and also in regarding to Harbor City 5, I think that EMS plan will be used a lot more since the new search house scripts and stuff.
Coming in, like the having to search houses.
Yeah. And maybe add in an upgrade for it as well, consisting of another medic and another MCU.
Give EMS boxes, not just fire, huh?
Wait, say again?
You'll be giving EMS boxes to use, not really just fire.
Yeah, well, fire could call it in, but I would say give it to EMS. It's their job to treat patients anyway. They can advise it. Fire can advise it to EMS, like, listen, we get that amount of patients, we're advising an EMS plan.
What I would recommend is for you to write it out somehow so you can present it in the officer meeting. We're gonna obviously Wait, have we not had a meeting in March yet? Have we had a meeting in March?
Don't think so. Think this is the first one. Yep, it's the first one.
We haven't had a meeting in March.
Kix, you gotta get on that, man. What are you doing? I'll talk to him about it. When the next officer meeting, I would propose it, and hopefully it passes, and then we can get it going. But you need to make sure you do your homework. We need to make sure you know exactly what you want on that EMS plan. An engine.
Actually, I do know already.
Okay, well, make sure
Engine,
you put it in writing.
medic, MCU. Do you want me to put it in the actual suggestion forum or just in officer chat?
You could put it in suggestion for it so we don't forget about it, because technically the way with the new suggestion SOPs that DL implemented is, if you put it in a suggestion form, it gets voted in or out in the officers' meeting.
User in your channel timed out.
Okay. But, well, you will get some feedback from the members as well if you put it in there.
Yeah, but it's locked. There's no more feedback. Like, DL locks it after. At least
Yeah,
that's
what
what
about
it
my
says.
changed box 25 response thing?
Let me see.
Plus, you said there was a medic. Is it an additional medic? So you have medic 4 arrive, they call the EMS plan or whatever it was called, and then you get medic 5 as well as the MCU?
I would suggest that, yeah. Because
You stole
technically,
my idea.
no, I did not.
I was talking about the EMTA game. You know me?
I know,
Yeah,
but I
it
was
says-
thinking of that before.
It says if the suggestion has anything to do with SOPs or run cards or anything, you need to put it up without a poll. A command staff will acknowledge that has been seen, and then it will be decided in the next staff meeting. The third will be locked. So I actually put it up, we'll acknowledge it, and then just lock it.
Okay, alright, so what I'm going to do right after this meeting is I'm going to post a forum post up for everybody, including the members. I mean, I'm just going to post. I know not everybody's going to RNU it, but hopefully as much members as we can are going to RNU it. I'm going to say this is not for discussion. It's a change we made already, and it's going to be all of those changes that we are going to make in the training department. And then, Eddie, I mean, how do you want to go about it? When do you want to, like, officially implement it?
We need to just make sure that all the lieutenants know that they know the changes. So somehow, if we can, obviously, whoever posted on the staff chat about it know the changes. Everybody in here knows the changes. We need to make sure that Bevan and who else?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a forum post in staff chat. I'm going to send everybody a message on the websites, well, at least the officers. I'm going to send Voxers where I can, and then I'm going to make a forum post for everybody to see it and RNU it, and then I mean, that's the best I can do. Hopefully by
Sunday.
we'll be good to go. Or do y'all want to do it immediately?
The only problem with doing it immediately is we got to figure out like the logistics. We got to give everybody that are on the training chart extensions as far as if they're going to be doing this, or we got to figure out all the stuff behind it. And I need to make sure that all the officers know about it. So that's why I need to make sure that Bevan knows. I need to make sure technically that Lucas and Wills know because they're officers.
Alright, I mean, the whole part of the training spreadsheet shouldn't be too much of a problem because nobody's really passed training game 1, so that's fine. And alright, so we'll do it Sunday. Yeah, we'll do it Sunday then.
What Sunday? I don't like Sunday.
You know, like, we're doing the changes
Ah,
going
okay,
into
I like
effect.
Sunday.
User in your channel.
Alright, Jazzy, did you hear that? Sunday is when those changes are going in effect.
Whoa.
Okay, I think we're done.
Did Jazzer or IMAX have anything?
Oh, so, yeah, did any of y'all have anything?
If I could, I'd like to just talk to you guys about the newsletter for a little bit.
Of course, absolutely.
So, most of everything has been added. The only real thing I need to do left is the promotions and Modder's Corner. The last two things that really need to go in. Everything else has been completed. So the Modder's Corner is going to be a little bit of trouble for me. Eddie, I would like to talk to you about promotions afterwards in my office. But what I do want to talk to you guys about is I do want to add the tips and tricks. Oh yeah, because the two things are tips and tricks and the members in action. So frankly, I don't want to go into this having only one members in action story, but at the same time, I don't really want to open it up to members and just kind of because this is like rather last minute. I think we can get this done ASAP and get it definitely out to the members by the end of the month at latest. So if one of you guys has a story or something like that, can you please send it to me or something like that? And tips and tricks. I have nothing. No one has contacted me, and again, I don't really want to open this up to all members yet. I was thinking about doing that and like having like a full form and everything that people fill out, like they do for trainings. Doing something like that, but only setting that up when the newsletter goes out for the first time, so they can kind of get a good idea what it looks like.
Well, for members in action, Kix has a great stories. He rescued a kitten. He went inside of a building.
I have a story too, and I have a picture with the story too.
Well, then you do it, Eddie.
I could. I mean, I can write the members in action.
Let me guess, you two eating?
Ooh. Eddie, you want to go to McDonald's?
You guys started it.
Eddie, do you have? I forget. Do you have like a post inside the newsletter that you do?
I mean, not specifically for me. We could.
Well, for sure, I want to put something in this one about the changes in the training department.
Yeah, I started writing that article, but I didn't finish it. And we don't even have an officer of the month or member of the month.
And what was the second thing, IMAX?
There was the members in action and the tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
Didn't you have something about rotation, Javi, and you didn't put in?
No,
about rotating the camera?
I mean, no, that was important for 360, but.
Oh.
Wasn't that part of the command post?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying like it's a series of tips and tricks, like have the tier 3s come together and say, here's what you do whenever you approach like a structure fire, what you want to check out, and if this happens, what you want to do afterwards. Like, it says it in the guidelines, but you might want to have this included to say that, like, if you approach a hazmat, you might want to get your first firefighter out to attach a supply line, and then get a second firefighter to actually man the deck gun, because you can put more water on the fire easier at a greater distance or something. Just something like that.
I mean, yeah, you could do that. I was thinking like tips and tricks were like little things that you can do in game to make it easier. Just things that not that many people know. Like I don't know if that many people know that you can rotate the camera.
Be put into for like tips and tricks would be something more like based on something. So like one might be camera control to get a full 360 on the fire or whatever.
Or
another one might be when you approach a structure. Yeah, something like that.
Or if I don't know if a lot of people know that when a call comes out, you can click on the top thing and click on where the call actually is, and it takes you to the call. Or
I don't think many people know about that either.
If there's a fire at the edge of the map, you can put your camera straight up, and it will allow you to actually move to the edge of the map so you can get a better view.
Well, write those in, Javi. I mean, we just put them inside the newsletter. Just little things like that.
Just to make the gameplay a little bit easier.
Yeah, just something like that, and I can just write it down, put nice photos, and make it look nice and pretty, and then just ship it out.
Okay. I think, yeah, I got a few I was thinking about. Another one, if you want to pick up patients, you can kind of click on pick up patient button and they're highlighted if you can't find them. Just little things like that. That's pretty good.
If you got a paramedic and have a paramedic start healing a guy, then you take him off, then his health starts to go back down. But if you get a firefighter or you have an EMT person without the bag, then they heal him up to full health, and the health does not go down. Just some small things that could make a big difference, or even just help out someone else.
I have tons of tips and tricks, and I always forget them.
What we can do is anybody and everybody who kind of has tips and tricks that you can do, write them down, and then we can just have like a queue or like stored away, tips and tricks stored away, and then when the newsletter comes out, then we just put the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and go down the line. So I'll write as many as I know. Eddie, you can write as many as you know. I'm actually, if you want to write some, just everybody of y'all can write some, and then when we have the officer meeting, we can all give them to. Well, everybody should have access to the newsletter, right?
But remember, we want to get this done. We don't want to wait too long. We want to get this done pretty quick.
Can I make a forum post
For what?
that everybody can put their tips and tricks in?
The members?
No, no, no. Only visible to the officers, and then we'll have a whole queue of them, and then we can transfer them over.
As long as that queue is done within like 5 days, then yeah, because we're gonna want to release this soon. We're not gonna wait any longer.
That's fine. I'll make a new forum post of tips and tricks. Everybody can do it, and as soon as it's done, then we can delete it, and that's just so we can have an idea of a whole bank of ones that we can have already.
Okay.
All right, let me write that down.
Okay, Jazzy, do you have anything to add?
No, no.
Okay, well at that point I think we should be good to go. We pretty much covered everything that we needed to cover in this meeting. I'm gonna go take a little break, and then IMAX, I will come to you because you said you wanted to talk to me about some kind of promotions, right?